Hi guys, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching from around the world. I've got the pleasure in doing the first community spotlight this week with Xbox Jesus, otherwise known as CrazyLegsCraig. How are you doing this week?
Yeah, I'm okay, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. So the purpose really of starting this community spotlight, and one guy that really gave me the idea for this was yourself, actually. It's highlighting the community, the really positive people within the community then, and there's been a few over times, unfortunately, and you'll know one of them, of course, which was Xbox Addict.
Yeah, definitely.
Always an extremely positive individual. There was never any fanboyism going around with him. It was always just straight to the point, like an unbelievable ambassador, not only for Xbox, but for the community in general. But he was always positive, and you'll hear stories from everybody who knew him where he was always trying to help people out and do what he can for the community throughout. And really, one of the people that stuck out for me and gave me the idea to kind of do this fortnightly show was people like yourself. I've seen you kind of standing out in the community there, and I've never seen a negative thing come away from you. Always an extremely positive individual, but always very positive towards kind of not only the Xbox brand, but just gaming in general.
Definitely.
It's a good thing to see, especially with all the fanboy stuff that goes on these days and the hate that you see for people.
Definitely.
I mean, what's in general your thoughts on kind of gaming as a whole? What did you see when you see this fanboy argument? What do you...
I don't know if you've seen my post, but I got pretty mad about what IGN put themselves. Like, they're just really fueling that gaming, that console war, and it's stupidity. It's like, grow up, really. Like,
yeah,
it's just childish, really. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's all right to have. I'm a big Xbox fan, as you can see. I've got my shirt on. I'm always on Xbox, to be honest. And I do have a PlayStation. I do have a Switch, but I don't play them as much because I love what Xbox offers me. So, but yeah. I think I appreciate that other consoles and stuff have great games and different ways that you can play, and I just think it's good for having all the different types of gaming. There's nothing wrong with whatever you play it on. Even if you played on old school stuff, it doesn't matter. You're still a gamer.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, then, what's your thoughts on the whole difficulty level thing? Because I've seen stupid comments over the years as well. You're only a gamer if you're playing on like.
To be honest, since I've got bad with my illness, a lot of the time, because I get a lot of pain and problems in my hands.
Yeah.
And even though I can hold my own quite well against people, if I'm, say, on a really hard level or something's really hard work on my hands, I struggle with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do have to go on easier modes or easier levels. And sometimes I think, God damn it, because I used to always do everything on the hardest. I was one of them diehards.
Yeah.
Got to do everything on the hardest setting. That's how I always was. But to be honest, as long as you enjoy the game, and to be honest, it's for me. I think developers need to think about accessibility, not do we need to make it hard or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's even like I've got a sister who's got special needs, and I'm trying to find games that she could play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the market isn't very good for people that have understanding difficulties and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very small market as opposed to people learning difficulties, and that's it's quite a difficult one to get around, isn't it? Specifically.
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose, and it sounds daft, but is she more fixed on games like Minecraft and things like that, or what kind of games is it that you've managed to boil down to herself then?
Well, to be honest, I've only just set her up with an Xbox, and she's just getting her room sorted. But I think I'll get her maybe going on the Disneyland game and stuff like that. And she likes all the. She's quite young-minded, but
yeah,
it's always hard trying to find ones that aren't complicated. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Nice, easy, quick to get into. Don't have to think too much. Yeah.
Not too much involved in it. Just very basic.
Yeah.
And I just want to say hi to Michael Cyber. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate the comments.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate all of it, to be honest. Thanks for coming in and having this very first community spotlight episode.
Nah, I feel pretty special to be your first one.
You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. No, like I mentioned before, it's all about the positivity, and the thing that stuck out for me, and what you have so in common with Xbox Addict was along the lines of the issues you have and a personal circumstance, and how positive you remain regardless of that. Now, obviously, you've got your own kind of medical issues and disabilities and things like that. Now, can you elaborate how that kind of stops you from doing what you need to do, and how you normally kind of remain positive throughout doing that?
Well, I try, mate. Just to give a bit of background, I've got a condition called EDS, which stands for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which literally means the collagen's defected in my body.
Yeah.
And it makes me hypermobile, so all my joints can dislocate anytime very easily, or sublex. And literally, you get chronic pain, like chronic fatigue, and also you get the acute pain and stuff, of course. And it is hard because a lot of the time you feel like everything you try and do, you suffer for, no matter how big or how small. Do you know what I mean? But of course, the bigger, the more worse.
Yeah.
Your podcast version, Craig. Sorry. No, actually, this is my second one. I had one with Vegas one time. He told me about 5 minutes before he goes, joining me on a podcast, and I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah, go for it. It's always always good to kind of dip into new things, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how does it affect? I mean, obviously you mentioned it's obviously randomly dislocating things depending on what you're doing and the chronic pain. How can that really kind of affect you from enjoying what we do best, and then how you remain positive throughout it?
Well, I think the thing is, what people have to understand, I used to be, even though don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed gaming since I was young, but I was also a very fit person. I used to go skateboarding, I used to do rock climbing, tennis, everything. Like, I was quite a go-getter. I did caving. It was quite adventurous. I even did dancing. I enjoyed it. I've done many things in my life, and then most of that had to stop just because it got too bad, too painful to do. And I tell you what, it's bloody hard. Like, having to kind of stop doing a lot of things, if you know what I mean. And it's really hard when life takes that away from you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst things with this illness is how invisible it is.
Mm.
Like, and also unknown, because one of the worst comments I ever get is, "At least you don't have cancer."
No.
And to be honest, I bloody hate that.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Don't get me
I can fully imagine.
Don't get me wrong. I know it's bad. We've had family members that die from it, and for anyone going through it, don't get me wrong. I'm not belittling it. It's very nasty, but also people don't realise when people have got a chronic illness, you're going through something that will never go. You're always going to suffer.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, people say, "Oh, well, if you're in pain all the time, you get used to it." And I'm like, okay, let me explain something. Think of like having a backpack full of rocks. And when you first get it, you're wiped out. You can't do anything. It is hell. And you can't ever take that backpack off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all it does is get heavier the more and more you have it.
Yeah.
And when things get worse, it gets even more heavy. And most days you get to a point where you feel you can hack it, but by the end, you are always wiped out no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just to be able to keep positive all the time when you've got that going on. It's not easy. I try my best.
Oh, well, it shows. Like I say, it shows wholeheartedly. You don't, like I say, you kind of advocate away from especially in the gaming community, away from being negative towards anybody or anything.
Oh yeah. The thing is, don't get me wrong. I've got opinions like everyone else.
Yeah.
But I also think everyone should have an opinion. But I think the problem I have is when people push it in other people's faces and say you're wrong. I'm like, how the fuck can an opinion be wrong? Do you know what I mean?
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion. But also, people just come out with bullshit about things. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's just so many, and it's the thing. Don't get me wrong, Microsoft. I have a love-hate relationship with them because they do things really well, but then other things they don't.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, like you said, accessibility though, they are probably
trying with it.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand about that as well, it's all right putting out the controller and stuff and all that you can have, but to actually get something that you know that works for you and sorting it all out and having that help.
Yeah.
Screw you, Chris. Sorry. It's not. I've gone through times where I've had people say they'll help me, as I've told you before about charities and stuff. I won't name names, but I've been dropped on that, and people don't realise how stressful it is just to get that, because the problem is you can have bits and bobs to get it going, but then you're like, actually, I've only got one stick, and most games are two, and then you're like, okay, so I need to get that, and then you're like, but is that going to work well with my condition? Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they are doing that kind of thing, and there are people trying to help, but of course they can't help everyone, I guess.
Yeah, and it is a slow process getting through it as well, isn't it? Slow process. I suppose we'll get slightly more on topic to what you're doing at the moment, and obviously the comment in the chat there kind of alludes to it, but you've got your gaming aims before Valhalla comes out. So
Cyber knows
go into that.
Cyber just knows that I've beaten AC3, the Xbox 360 version, because I've never really liked it. To me, it's like, it was nice that they changed the look. They had a different character and all that, and it was a bit. I don't want to spoil it if people haven't, but to me, it kind of felt they took a lot of things that make Assassin's Creed good and didn't add stuff. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that was my problem with it.
And innovate the series.
No, it kind of went down, to be honest. I know some people like it, like Chris, for some reason, but
So what's your aim in Assassin's Creed then at the minute? You were just telling us before we started there, but what are you aiming to do
well,
before
my aim
Valhalla?
is to make sure I've beat every game. I'm not sure about the indie side-scroller ones because I'm not too keen, but as long as I've done
All
each
the
version
mainline
of the
ones.
main ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done most of them. It's really, I need to do Rogue. I need to do the remaster of 3, which I'm cringing.
And
Rogue
have you already done Odyssey and
I've
Origins?
done Origins. I need to do the DLC on that, and I've done a bit of Odyssey, but I wanted to go back before doing it. But
do the smaller games before you hit Odyssey.
yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Assassin's Creed games. I like them, but the repetition can get really irritating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can bet. That's the one thing I liked about some of the newer games, like and the additional mechanics in Odyssey over Origins.
Yeah, I would say they have got some good mechanics in them, but when it comes down to it, you are going into a base, being quiet, assassinate him, assassinate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you break it down, sure, they have slightly different missions, but you are doing the same mechanics. But I guess you could say that with most games, to be fair.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's what I really want to see in a next gen, like innovative new ideas to keep things fresh.
Yeah. So going into next gen, then what's we'll kind of touch on that topic straight away. What are you most excited for? Is there a particular game or franchise that you're looking forward to seeing more?
Well, I'm always a big Halo fan, and I know a lot of people mocked it, but I thought the gameplay looked fantastic, and that's what I was looking at most, and that is an open world. And I think 4-player open world destroying people is going to be great. Yeah, I do hope they don't have that damn tether shit, because I hate that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I touched on before. I hope as long as they don't tether you together.
Yeah, it's like you got to hold a lead together.
Yeah.
Don't go too far.
Attached by a bungee cord. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And is there any, I mean, outside of Halo, is there anything that you're really looking forward to going into next gen?
Definitely. well, I don't know if you can, I suppose it's partially next gen, but I'm really looking forward to the Avengers game.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've mentioned that one before.
Yeah, because I remember I played it when I was at EGX was it last year, I think? Yeah. And I just, even back then, that demo I really enjoyed.
Right.
Like, I think it, compared to what other Marvel games have been out, it was a hell of a big change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of the whole Marvel movies and universe, but most of the games have been shocking. So it's nice to have like a big full production actually putting time and effort into it.
And you see, and that's not. I mean, are you getting the or involved in the beta that's coming up?
Yeah, I think because I've already pre-ordered it, I should get that beta. It's probably going to be pretty much the demo I've already played.
Yeah,
but
looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be nice to play again. I'm excited to play as Craig the Brute. Is that because you want to be like me, Chris?
That'll be yeah. I think they'd be missing a trick if they didn't put Craig in Halo Infinite at some point.
To be honest, as much as people have mocked it, it's been one of the most talked of thing lately. Like they always say, even bad advertising is good advertising.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. 100% right. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Not when it comes to media and entertainment, because if it's bad, someone wants to go, I want to watch that just to see what was so bad with it.
Yeah, you're right, because that is human nature.
And if it's good, then people want to play it anyway. So either way, people want to play it to see if it was as bad as people say or if it was as good as people say.
And to be honest, with them putting free-to-play multiplayer, you can't mock that. I think that's a great move, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
And then having it on Game Pass, you've got, if someone didn't try it just because I think it's going to be shit, well, if you got Game Pass, you're an idiot if you don't try it.
Yeah, it's free, so why not? You've already.
Yeah, even if you're not a big Halo fan, why not try it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be honest,
yeah,
sorry.
No, go on.
And to be honest, for people that don't like the old school way of Halo, where it is a little bit slow,
yeah,
you're a super soldier, but you're only fast in the cutscenes.
yeah,
it does look a faster paced game, and to be honest, I kind of like that. Don't get me wrong, I grew up on the Halos and I love playing them, but you do go back and you do think, my God, I wish I could bloody run when I'm going all this way.
yeah, I know. I was thankful the other day. I was actually just last night I was playing Reach with Chamberlain, and one of the things that I kept forgetting was, instead of, do you know when you're aiming on Halo, and aim isn't that, aim originally is stick.
Oh yeah.
So I was just kept throwing grenades.
Yeah, that is an issue with the Halo, because each one actually changes its controls.
Yeah, every one of them changes. So I'm like, right, okay, every Halo you're having the same control layout. I'm getting sick of throwing grenades.
It is annoying, man.
But even then, on Halo Reach, which is the one we were playing last night, then you could go around and choose your special ability, and one of them is to sprint. So that's a bonus, but then you can have jetpack, or you can be force field, or you can have a hologram of yourself run off. I think even if they just implement that again in Halo Infinite, I think I'll be happy.
Yeah, just to give it, so if you do want to run and boost, get out of the way of action, I think it's quite useful. But to be honest, you got your grappling hook, which will help you get out of bad situations, especially if you're on legendary or something like that.
Yeah, we all know how bad legendary can get at times.
Yeah, definitely.
What would if we go on to it then? If I had to summarize everything and every game you've played, what would be your favorite franchise?
God, that's hard, man.
Your favorite game franchise?
Well, to be honest, I have always been a really big Gears fan, but I didn't like 5, and I didn't like the start of 4. But I don't know. I've played crazy amounts of hours on, especially 2, 3. I played a lot on 4 as well, especially once we learned that you could do juvie madness on Horde. I loved that.
Yeah.
Great way to level up as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest with them, I found like 4, it started off not very good, but they kept updating it and it ended up being quite a good game.
Yeah.
Where, okay, I probably should give 5 more of a chance, but I haven't enjoyed it as much as the others.
Yeah. I mean, I think the positive thing for you is they've had that recent update to 5's online. They said it's pretty much fixed all the complaints a lot of people have had, so it might be worthwhile jumping into it. I think there's been quite a lot of one of my best mate, actually, he did exactly the same. He loved the rest of them, but then when it came to 5, especially the online, he was like, it's broken.
Well, even a single player, when I was trying to play that with mates, it was broken so much.
Like, yeah, I agree.
To be honest, it put me off it completely. And funny enough, I actually haven't beat the game.
Yeah, I forced myself to the other. I think it was about a month or 2 back. I forced myself to finish it off.
I kept saying I will.
Well, see, the thing that stopped me from playing Halo, not Halo, Gears 5 was I forgot the name of the robot already. What's his?
He gets stuck in the ground and everything.
Jack. Oh. Well, it wasn't that. I'd completely upgraded everything to do with him in the campaign.
Yeah.
Everything. Found all the different things and upgraded them. Yeah. And then when I loaded the game up for a co-op game with Sean,
didn't have anything.
He lost all of his points and I couldn't upgrade him for the last 2 acts.
Yeah, there was so many glitches that game had.
So it literally for a bit it stopped us playing it because I was like, well, I can't even use one of the main mechanics in the game. It was useless. Yeah,
to be honest, like I think for such a well-known, loved franchise, they shouldn't have put it out in that shape.
Yeah, yeah.
I personally think it wasn't a smart move, and for people that are real diehard Gears and stuff, it can put them off, and it did with me. I've kind of lost my passion a little bit for Gears. Don't get me wrong, I love the old games, but 5 it's just killed it for me.
Have you had a chance to play Gears Tactics yet?
No, I wish. I don't have a PC good enough.
Well, you won't have to soon, because at launch for Series X, it is coming to the consoles.
That's awesome. So I look forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've had a chance to play it, and I can say that it's a really fun game.
Yeah.
The production level on it is as high as it would on any other normal game.
Oh, nice.
So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of customizing. You can change all your characters mid-game. There is no microtransactions. You don't have to buy the customizations.
Well, that's always nice.
You find them within the level itself. So you can get your characters, go to a certain area, grab the loot box that's lying on the floor.
Oh, okay.
And that box that's on the floor has either new armor, new weapon, new
so
this, new that.
Random then.
Yeah,
pickups.
It's
that's not bad if you pick it up.
Random-ish pickups, but the customizability on the armor that you've got or the skins or anything like that is already pre-built into the game, so you don't have to find those. You can literally just say, I want this type of armor texture, I want this type of skin, but I want it in this color and this color, and you can make your own.
Sounds pretty awesome.
So there's a lot in it, and the story's there as well. The story's really good.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't just have a main thing as well. You have optional side stories. So you can say, right, okay, instead of doing this main mission, you have the option of playing this one if you want to. So you can do that one first and then jump into the main mission. If not, then just go again.
To be honest, it sounds like they put more work into that game than they did Gears 5.
Yeah. And the cinematics are on par with Gears 5.
Yeah.
Like the cinematics they've kept at the highest level. But of course, Gears Tactics is before Gears 1, I think.
Yeah, I think it's pre Pendulum Wars, is it?
Yeah. So it's I think you'll really look forward to playing that.
Yeah, I hope that brings back my passion for it, because it's sad that it's kind of lost. I even got to a point where, to be honest, I don't really care about another Gears game coming out.
Yeah.
But I also do think franchises do sometimes try and go too hard, keeping something going.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I hope personally, and I think you'll probably be thinking the same, but I hope they take quite a bit of a break away from doing Gear 6. I think they need to.
Oh, definitely need it for sure.
Step back and completely reboot the franchise, just like they've done with a few. I mean, God of War had a reboot and see how well that turned out. Forza's rebooting. That's no longer 8. That's just Forza.
Yeah, it's just Forza. I'm quite excited about that. I did see a leak. I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I read, I was quite excited.
What's the leak you've read then? We may as well bring that one up.
Well, sorry if anyone doesn't like spoiler leaks, but I don't know if it's real, to be fair.
Go for it.
I've heard it's supposed to have a rallying mode in, which would be amazing. Yeah. And it's supposed to actually have a story mode, which will be different, because story mode in games, in racing games, are odd one. I'm a big Forza fan. I'm a massive Forza fan. That's another one I'm trying to get as much done before the new Forza. So I'm kind of glad that I've got a bit of time.
Yeah. I think, like you say, you do have a bit of time. It's got at least another year or two left in development.
Yeah, I think it's going to be probably 2 years if it's that much that haven't been done, especially on a reboot, because they're not just copying what they had.
Yeah, they're starting it again. Yeah, and that's really what I want to see. Like Halo's the same. That's rebooted. Halo's went to Infinite. It hasn't went to 6. I think Gears needs to do the same. I think Gears just needs to go to, but even if it's just Gears, then just go to just Gears. And even though we're only in the 4th iteration of Forza Horizon, I want to see a reboot on that. I want to see that
would be nice because
reimagine it.
Yeah, I would like if they do this whole thing that everyone's asked about being set in Japan. That would be pretty badass.
Well, I want to see them take advantage of the everything they've got in their power. Now we've seen Horizon 1 to 4, the big maps, but they're not like the crew big. I want to see them, I want to see a Forza Horizon on the crew scale map where it can take you like ages to get to the other side. You know what I mean? Like, be able to actually go for a good drive and have fun.
Yeah. I don't mind really big maps in games, but as long as detail doesn't go.
Exactly. Well, you've seen
detail goes, then there's a problem.
Flight Sim being the perfect thing. If they can take advantage of the same thing that the new Flight Sim's doing.
I don't know how Flight Sim are doing it. They're saying that they've got every airport in the whole world. That's just
the entire map. Well, they've said if you've not seen the Digital Foundry video on Flight Sim, because he's done a little bit of a detailed video on that because he's in the beta. He's saying if you were to include Flight Sim, because it's still 150 gig at launch, so it's still a big game. But if you were to include the level of detail and the map, you wouldn't be able to literally give that to a person because it's above 20 terabit. Well, it's 20.
Yeah, I think he said it's isn't it?
Petabits. It's like it's a massive data. Said the good thing about this is it's all streamed from the cloud and it's all real time.
Yeah.
So you're only seeing something like 5 gigs worth of data at any one time anyway, and because of the speed that you're traveling in the planes, you're not getting to that data quick enough to be able to read it.
That's the thing. You'll only be able to see so far at a time anyway, so it's not like it's got to process the whole map all at the same time, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just in the section you are.
Yeah, and they're using the streaming from the maps to then stream in the data that they need. Essentially, it's generating what is required as and when it is coming on screen, but that is all it's doing.
They must have created almost like a Google Maps.
Yeah, well, they're going. I think they're going straight from Bing, which is Microsoft's Bing Maps. They're going straight from there, but they're also, and another thing that I found fascinating that I didn't actually know until just yesterday was that not only have they got real-time weather, but they've also got real-time air traffic. So all the planes that you can see flying around are exactly where they are in the world right now, flying around, taking off, or in airspace.
So I guess that means that you'll have to leave at certain times, otherwise you'll have collision.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd have collision with airports. Yeah. But again, that's a big open world. Go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and play with whoever you want because it's everyone's within the game. So I can't wait to play that game. Can't wait.
It's been pretty amazing. Do you think that it'll be best played with a proper joystick?
See, the positive thing I've got out of that video as well is he said actually playing with an Xbox One controller was relatively, it's actually quite responsive. So I used to play with joysticks and force feedback things and throttle and everything like that. So it was good. Don't get us wrong, but I mean, playing with the joystick, they've got joysticks coming out, and no doubt they'll bring a peripheral out for the Xbox for it as well.
They'll probably have a special flight simulator edition.
Yeah. As they used to. They used to have them on Microsoft years ago. They used to have proper, for their own brand, force feedback joysticks. But no, I think especially the controls we've got these days, they're perfectly fine with them. I think I'll probably end up buying a joystick for it myself.
Well, it would just be quite fun. Next gen, I really want to try and get a steering wheel. I'm just hoping my joints will be able to handle it. There's no reason why you shouldn't. At least when you've got your good, you'll be able to use it most when you've got your good days, won't you? Good days, what are them, mate?
Your better days.
Less shitty days, I think you mean.
Yeah. You're the ones where you can cope most.
Yeah. No, you gotta try and do what you can. That's what I think. Because I also a musician. I teach ukulele and guitar a little bit
Oh,
as well.
right, okay.
Yeah. So that's quite fun. I mostly used to teach guitar, but when my hands and everything started getting worse, I went more into ukulele, as it's properly pronounced.
Yeah.
But it's still quite a diverse instrument. It's just less tension on your hands.
Yeah. I can imagine that's a lot of tension, especially if you've got, like you say, with your. It's not even obviously it's classed as a disability, but it's more like you say as a condition than a disability.
Condition, really. Yeah. Well, same. It creates a disability.
Yeah. It's classified as one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more.
You have to mostly use a wheelchair, so.
Yeah, like you say, you have your days where sometimes it's you can cope with it, and other days it's very much the opposite. I've seen sometimes when you've been posting on there saying that I was going to love to do this stream today, and I would love to have played this, and unfortunately, because I'm in so much pain, I can't do that.
I think it's the issue. Like, I really wanted to build up streaming and get a good following, but the problem I have is keeping a schedule.
Yeah.
Because I get some weeks where I can't even stream once. I try and always keep to, because I'm with BG4G. I don't know.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
And we always do a Thursday stream. There has been days where I've had to say I just can't, but I generally try to do at least that every week.
Yeah.
And then I've had some weeks where I've been able to do free streams. I do pay for it after doing solo streams, but then there's other weeks where I just don't do any. And I think it's hard when you're in a lot of pain. Some of it is motivation as well. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And I even find that with gaming, like sometimes if something's a lot of work to learn or really takes a lot of time, if you're in a lot of pain, I just can't handle it. So I end up just doing something easy.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to focus much. Or I know
it's quite. See, that's the bonus that I've seen. The beauty of gaming as well is there's so many games where you don't. There's quite a few where you don't really need to. There's not much input needed on certain games, or you don't have to focus as much, and it's a lot easier on the. There's one game that I played that sticks in the memory, even though it's only a short little game, and it's called The Gardens in Between. Have you played that?
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a fantastic little game.
And again, you don't really need to. In terms of controls, it's not really hard on the hands. It's not really.
No, it's not too bad, is it? It's very simple controls.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's quite nice. Go on.
My go-to chill game is usually a Forza game.
Just
working through races, I have to be careful if I race too much. My fingers start really hurting. But yeah, like it's a good chill game. And to be honest, a lot of people will probably laugh, but it was 7 Days to Die. I used to play a lot. I don't know if you know it, but I loved it. Like it. Don't get me wrong, it's a glitchy ass mess, but it's so fun. 100% the game.
Some of the best games I've played have been absolute glitchy messes, but sometimes that's part of the fun, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, it can be
part of the fun. I mean, when PUBG first came out, there was so many times it was just you couldn't help but laugh at some of the glitches.
Yeah, man.
Some of the stuff that's happened to me on stream has been hilarious, and there's a few clips saved where like your car just blows up out of nowhere. You just hit an invisible rock or wall, and then you just end up spinning on your head, and everyone dies. Or you fall from nowhere. You just standing, falling in midair.
To be fair, there's so many games that like even that you wouldn't think have glitches, and some of them hilarious. Like I remember I can't remember the name, but it was a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And I think the goal was to get this square over the wall, and you were meant to do it at an angle and throw it. But then I found out if you throw the big size square on top of you, it glitches and shoots you up. So I actually shot up, stood on the wall, and then I could get the thing up to bring it over. And I think when you find glitches in games like that, it's great because it's almost like you beat the game in a way it's not meant to.
Yeah. I know. I think they must have watched this, but the creators of Zelda obviously took notes, because if you Zelda Breath of the Wild, now I'm not no ultimate Zelda player, but on Breath of the Wild you can literally use your abilities to slingshot you anyway. So you can stand on a rock, do a freeze timer on it, and then that rock gets fired across the map, and you can get to that place earlier. If you haven't looked at like the way they've done the mechanics in game with some of the tools that he has, honestly, it's beyond me. But it's so creative, and they've obviously took that into account.
In all honesty, I couldn't get into it.
Exactly the same. It just
didn't do it for me.
Every now and again, I'll go onto it for a bit, and I'll go into a shrine, and I'll play the shrine, and then I'll be like, right, okay, that's me done.
I actually sold my copy. I was like, I got pretty much the same money back, so I was like, I haven't lost anything.
Yeah. And they still sell it for the same price to this day.
Oh, of course, they like to rip you off.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't like about Nintendo, and I personally think the premium prices for the games and stuff, you don't get as much. Like for me, even if because I'm a big achievement hunter, I've got 500,000 gamer score.
Well beyond me. I've been on Xbox for 14 years and I've got like 65,000.
Well, I've played a lot of games, mate.
Yeah.
But just not even like if you complete a game, it doesn't even say, "Oh, you've completed this game." Yeah. Like, and I hate that. Even if it just said you've completed this,
we're on the right track here because I think exactly the same. I think Nintendo need like a completion system on there.
Yeah, I'm not even saying they need. I would love them to just have Xbox achievements like some of the games, but I don't think they will. Seeing in Minecraft, Dungeons didn't even have achievements.
I know, but Minecraft did.
Yeah, and so did all the other ones that was from Xbox. So that gives me the idea they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And personally, I think it's because Nintendo didn't want to pay the server pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why.
But I've got to agree with you, mate. I think Nintendo need to have some kind of accomplishment system.
Even if they...
even if it's just given... If they want to put like a Mario head beside it or something, this is like 2 Mario heads.
Or like some stars, like you collect the games. Like if you complete it fully, you get 3 stars. If you do it half, you get 2 stars. Do you know what I mean? Basic.
Yeah, something little, just so you know it's done.
Michael, Craig loves Forza so much. I do indeed.
Yeah.
And Gunstar 75, hello.
Hello, yeah, thanks everyone for joining with. Thanks everybody. But just literally, this is a nice, easy community spotlight. Yeah, it's more of a chat about how we love games. No negativity here. Thankfully there's no negativity from Craig, and that's one of the main reasons he's on today. But it is, like I say, I want to really see accomplishments from Nintendo. Something, because I feel like I get through a game and I'm like, we sometimes do forget why we play games in the first place, and it is just to enjoy the games. But you do look forward to getting an achievement or working for something. And there's nothing on Nintendo. There's nothing to go, you know where it is, I really want this, and build up your score and things like that. And with Xbox, it goes above and beyond that, because it's saying, right, okay, you need to get 4 achievements and we'll give you some reward points. Yeah,
that's the thing that people don't hardly talk about. Like,
they encourage you to play games on rewards. They're like, okay, we want you to play 10 different Game Pass games this month.
It's such an amazing thing. Like, I've literally got 250,000 points ready for
getting Series X.
Right. Well, suppose I did look into that, but then they said the only way you could do that is if you had the full amount of gift cards.
Yeah.
But how I figure is, I don't need to buy all the Game Pass games, but any third-party games I want, I can just go, here we go, sorted for next gen.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've only totalled up 45,000, but that's only in like 100 days.
Yeah.
So it's quite much quicker than I thought. It's but even then, that's £45 worth. In 100 days.
Pretty much.
And all I've done is play games and search the internet.
Yeah.
I haven't had to buy anything to get them points. And
if you do buy anything, you get points.
As well. Yeah.
So it's all a win-win situation. And even if I spend all my points on new games, like I remember last year I saved my points for Black Friday sales, and I think I spent 150,000 points because I like a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I got, to be honest, my score went back up so quick just from the points I got spending the money.
Yeah. You can't lose when you spend the money. You get more points for spending the money, so you're going round in circles.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Love it. And
but that brings me down to the accomplishments thing on Game Pass as well, though. Like Nintendo have none, but Xbox have. You've got your achievements, which get you points, and then you play more games, which gets you points, and then they ask you to play Game Pass to get more points, to then get more points, to then. So it's all a big round accomplishment thing. But even on Game Pass, they're like, all right, well, we want you to try out this game, and then you've got certain tasks for certain games monthly, which give you even more points.
The only thing that irritates me about is sometimes I play a game that I'm not really that interested in, and then my completion on true achievements goes really low because I try and
yeah.
But no, you can't. It's amazing value, really, and as people say, also Game Pass overall, you can't mock it. With all these games coming out, there's no one that can say they don't like any of the games that have been shown, even if they haven't showed that much gameplay on some of them.
Yeah.
But
it's all diversity, as we've said. There's so many. Xbox's route for next generation and what has been happening like right now is simply to just give everybody the ability to play whatever it is they like. If you want an action adventure game, we've got them. If you want a racing game, we've got them. If you want a puzzle game, we've got them. If you want whatever it is you want to play, we have it.
They've got very weird games. Not as weird.
God, yeah.
But
PlayStation's got some strange games, but Nintendo tops them all. Nintendo tops them all.
Wars or stuff like that. It's like, what the hell?
Nintendo's the worst.
It's a really weird console because they kind of advertise it as very child friendly and all this, and then they sell these weird games for like stupidly cheap. Because I remember I like sales, and I thought, I don't have that many Nintendo games, so I thought I'll just pick one of the cheap ones and try it, because that's what I do on Xbox. And then it was some weird game where you bloody strip these characters off to get truth out of them, and I was like, how is this even legal?
Yep. I know.
And they're like high school people, and I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, high school kids, and they've got like just jumping around all the time and like upskirting, and I'm like, what? Like, how is this for sale for starters?
Right, mate. Like,
keep that stuff. If that's big in Japan, keep it in Japan or China. Yeah. Just keep it there.
I think the worst game I ever saw, a trailer, it literally made me feel sick. Is that, I don't know if you've seen it, it's Gal Gun, I think it is.
I'm not sure. Is that the one about the school? It's like school kids
school kids, and you literally go around getting their demons out of them with a gun that strips them off and pleasures them. And I was like, that is foul. I'm sorry, but
that's exactly what I'm saying about Nintendo's marketplace. It's an absolute mess.
Yeah,
like, it is the worst storefront I have ever seen.
They don't even put warnings and stuff on stuff like that.
But it's like, it's to try and find any game at all. It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go in to see what new offers they've got on, and all of the offers at the start. Like, all you really want to see is what big titles can I get for cheaper.
Yeah.
But you've got to go through.
That's not Nintendo, mate.
No, well, not the first party anyway. First party is never reduced ever.
30%, I think, is the lowest they ever go.
Dear me, I haven't even seen that. I wish.
Well, that's rare, mate.
But even then, when you get the offers and you go into it, you've got to go through 400 pages of like
crap,
bottom of the barrel indie, not even indie games. It's like stuff that was on Steam in 2004.
Really weird stuff.
Yeah, you've got to get through that for about half an hour before you come across one big title.
I tell you what, I learned from my mistake buying a random game that was cheap. Because I thought, oh, it's a £35 game, and it was, what was it, 79p?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's one Nintendo YouTuber, and he stopped working with Nintendo recently. You've probably seen him. Is he called Beat 'em Up Guy or something like that?
I don't know personally, but
there's one. Yeah, it's one guy that I watch quite. He's the only Nintendo YouTuber really that's again. He's extremely positive dude, and he never really bashes anything. He's very pro Nintendo, but he won't hesitate to call them out on stuff that they do.
I think that's the point. Like, even though we are saying things about Nintendo, it's more being subjective about the things that we don't really agree with because it's not really right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I love that. Like it is, and I was so happy that it came out as well because I've been dying for what we would class as the ability to play AAA games on the move. Yeah. I travel so much, and being able to play Witcher on the way to Florida for like 10 hours was insane.
Stuff like that on the go.
Unbelievable, and there's not a console that's come close, and that is absolutely taken off.
Fantastic in that way, and that's why most people own one, just so when they go out, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like even when I went away just to Weymouth last 2 years ago, and I just took my Switch and I just mostly played Mario Kart when I was just chilling.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Just play on something nice and easy. I've got Trials on there as well. Just chuck Trials on for a couple of races. There we go, nice and easy. But then I've got the ability when I'm doing long distance traveling, I've got so much I can play. Big games, then I can really dive into a big game and enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's good.
That is good. But then again, we got xCloud coming.
We do. I'm looking. I've been playing xCloud for a while. I'm just looking forward to see how that.
It'll be interesting.
How that feels and gets improved upon once it's officially live in September.
Yeah, and also I think what people don't realize, I also think we're going to end up with deals with Samsung because they already said they are working with them.
Yeah.
So I imagine you're going to end up and you're getting a phone contract or whatever and getting a Samsung phone, and maybe you'll get a clip controller. I mean, if you buy
not just that, you'll get Game Pass Ultimate included because they used to do Spotify. They'll say, "Oh, you get Game Pass Ultimate for a year with the new phone."
Because it's big money in phones, and if you make deals, and people are paying that extra, so if they put that to like they would do in them other subscriptions, you might not get as long because it's a little bit more pricey monthly. But even if you get 6 months or something, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. But they'll also include. I'm fully expecting them to include it as an app built into the Samsung TVs.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think we get it on the TVs. You'll be able to do it on the PCs. I think you can already do it on tablets, but I think there will be problems with Apple, like there already are. But just because Apple have their own thing, I don't know how willing they will be until they start losing sales, if people start moving over just because of xCloud.
Yeah, but even then, Xbox. This is one strategy that some people just can't get their heads around, but they don't care what you play on.
Oh, they don't.
Play on PC, play on console, play on xCloud. We don't care as long as you're playing our games. We don't care.
Because keep going. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's really they're in a financial position unlike any other platform. And this is what people kind of seem to forget. Xbox is no longer a platform. Xbox is a service. Xbox is the entire game division for Microsoft now.
Yeah.
It is what used to be Microsoft Game Studios is no longer. It is now Xbox Game Studios, the gaming division for Microsoft. So they're an entire division to themselves, which create gaming whether that be on console, whether that be on PC, whether that be on mobile or the cloud. They control all of it. So that's a division. Whereas Sony is Sony, and PlayStation is its own brand. PlayStation is a section of Sony separate. They're not a division. Sony PlayStation is a platform. So they need to shift consoles because that's the only, outside of now bringing a couple of games to Steam here and there, PlayStation is the only thing they can do to sell games.
I think they are gonna, and to be honest, there has been certain things I've seen about them saying they probably will put more to PC, just because I think any company understands that you can only sell so much to your people. Like, don't get me wrong, the PlayStation has a huge fan base, but if you can sell it to everyone, you can't lose. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. It's a win-win situation. And if you take yourself out of consumer and go into corporate mentality, the one thing they're looking for is how can we get this to more people so more people will buy it.
And that's what I respect about Microsoft. Of course, they're doing it for people, but they're also doing it for business, because their point of view is subscription. All you got to do is look at Netflix and stuff like that. Insane amounts of money they make just from having so many subscribers.
And now to the point where they're making big films with the biggest actors.
Well, just think about, even, I know some people don't like Ricky Gervais, but it was the most highly paid actor on Netflix. I think
was he?
Yeah, serious money to keep him doing his live comedy shows only, and the series.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But it's a prime example. People keep thinking these companies can't afford to keep paying these big developers. Well, they can if you have a look at Amazon and you have a look at Netflix. They're making their own programs with the biggest stars they can find because they are making money.
Yeah, that's the thing. They make serious money.
But they weren't making money overnight. Like, They didn't just started making Netflix only shows and Amazon only shows.
Very basic, wasn't it?
Yeah. They started by just getting as many rights as they could to start streaming basic other people's content and built up a service over time. And that's what Game Pass is. Right now, it's in its early stages. It's so successful, being 10, 11 million people already.
That's pretty amazing.
It's insane. But they're still at the stage right now of saying, right, okay, well, we're still bringing loads of third-party stuff in. We're building it up. Aaron Greenberg even said that right now it's not profitable, but we're not looking for it right now to be profitable. What we're doing is building the brand. So the bigger it gets, the more profitable it'll then become. Yeah. So then right now it's barely breaking even, but they've got 10 million people, so that's 1.5 billion a year so far, just on Game Pass. If you double that going into next gen, and you've got 20 million people. If you again double that again, you go 30 million people. If you can get everybody on the ecosystem, which is anywhere up to 50 million people on Game Pass, they're laughing all the way to the bank. You're talking 7-8 billion a year before small microtransactions and add-ons and all of that stuff. It's just insane.
Well, you just gotta realize, I know people go, people who play online games aren't gamers and all this, but a lot of people love playing games no matter what. So if they can actually play better quality games on their phone anywhere, it's gonna really sell, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Good afternoon, Tatcha. How are you doing? Hello, Pixel Witcher. How are you doing?
Yeah, Pixel Witcher. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a good day.
But yeah, it is. It's all about, and the thing I love specifically about Game Pass, and one thing these people who profess to be gamers sometimes don't look at, is Game Pass opens you up to so many different games that you would never, like a lot of games that I would never have picked up or would have just said, right, I'll wait for it to go on sale. And it's not because the game's bad, it's because as a consumer, I want to spend my money wisely.
Yeah.
So if I've got access to Game Pass for $15 a month on PC as well as console as well as xCloud,
get double the content as well.
Double the content, well, triple the content if it's on xCloud.
Yeah.
But I'm also able to go into these smaller indie titles who are getting unbelievable amounts of funding from this.
Definitely.
And they've already, indie specifically, have said we're getting triple the amount of people buying the game.
I like how Descenders have been, the guy who makes Descenders has been very open how well he's been doing from it.
Yeah, he's saying something like 200-300% profitability from Game Pass.
It's amazing, because it wouldn't have been like that if it was just released. No way in hell. Yeah,
completely agree. It would never have been at the same level. But it does, it empowers indies, and that's one of the games that I was happy. You would have seen it the other day, the interview with Song of Iron.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And he's exactly the same. I said, obviously, I can't wait for being able to play it, but it's also, he said, he is going to be in the future, not immediately on release, but in the future, he will be on. He's looking to get on Game Pass, because he said he wants as many people to kind of be able to experience his game as possible. And for an indie developer, that's the biggest thing you can be on, is to be on.
It's been in the
Game Pass.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Because
he's seen, they've all these indie developers have seen the benefits of Game Pass for an independent game specifically, and they want in on that action. And I don't blame them. It opens up to so much more of an audience.
Hey, Mike 29, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and the thing, like, if you look at, say, the Xbox 360, it was a great console, but games got lost on their store, and even Microsoft games do get lost because there's thousands and thousands of games. So even like, I'm a person that loves trying so many games. I'm bad for that. I'm terrible because I'm
exactly the same. Exactly.
Yeah, and there's not many game types I don't like. There's a few where I don't want to play Flying Panty Wars, but
yeah, I'm exactly the same.
Cheers, Mike 29. But yeah, I think the point of people having that variety, like, I helped this friend of mine where I know she doesn't have a lot of money, and I got I think it was 3 months Ultimate Game Pass, and then she had a year of live, and then she's got it for a year, and I was like, that's fantastic. And she said it's the best thing I've had. Like,
exactly, you've got to people have got to think not everyone is absolutely full of money or loaded or anything like that. Game Pass is so consumer friendly in every way you could possibly imagine, and this is what I try to reiterate to these people that profess to love games, is if you truly love games, you'll see how much of a benefit this is for the wider consumer. The people might not be as well off as me or you, but they might, to be able to go in and say, right, I don't have to worry about getting all of these first party games from Microsoft on release for no additional cost.
Yeah.
But I'm getting all of these third party games. I'm getting all of these indie games. I'm getting some of the older titles. I'm getting benefits and perks and add-ons and things like that. But I also don't have to worry about spending £60 for.
It's a lot of money, and especially if the prices rise.
And you've seen how many games come out in such quick succession these days. You're talking like 3, 4, 5 games sometimes a month, and if you want them all, what you're going to do? You're like, oh, I've got to choose. You don't have to choose on Game Pass. That's the only problem you have is having to choice. Yeah. What am I going to jump into? It's nuts.
Mike,
I've
heard it's pretty good actually.
Yeah, I've downloaded it actually using the app, but I haven't actually played it yet. I'm going to jump on that after this. Actually, I think
that's the only problem I have. Just because I'm trying to go through my backlog more, but it's so hard. Temptation. You're like, I want to do that.
yeah. I think one thing I'm going to start doing more, especially for my followers, is give away quite a little bit more kind of. I think it's minimum. I think I'll give away is like 3 months, but I'm going to give a few kind of codes away for Xbox Ultimate Game Pass.
That's what I try and do when I can, when I have the funds.
It's such a big. I mean, like I say, it's such a big benefit to people, and it means that especially people that aren't as well off get a chance to play more games.
Well, the thing is, you can give a game, and even if it's £60, if someone gets 3 months of Ultimate Game Pass, and especially if they have gold already, it's just
nuts,
amazing,
isn't it? Nuts. Hello there, Hazardor Gaming. How are you doing?
Oh. Is that a dragon?
Dragon emoji. How are you doing? But yeah, I think the first couple of I've done it in the past, and the reason that my Cyberpunk one was delayed, my giveaway, was simply because the game was delayed. It's impossible to give that game away right now when it's coming out in October. So that'll be refreshing again next month, and I'll be giving that away. Again, to one random follower, we'll be getting a copy of Cyberpunk 2077. So keep an eye out for that. But on top of that, no, I think I'm going forward, following podcasts every week. I'll be giving away copies of 3-month or 6-month or even 12-month maybe. So I'll see how generous I'm feeling for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So for those of you, or for those who follow, who find it a bit difficult to keep on top of kind of getting games here or there, actually it'll be 12-month. I'll give a couple of 12 months away because I'm thinking going into next gen.
They don't want to miss out on all them new games, do they?
Yeah, exactly. Not just the new games, but it means it's going to be a lot easier for people to get into that next gen, isn't it?
Definitely.
So yeah, we'll do that. I think we'll work with some of my guys, get something set together. But yeah, 12-month Game Pass Ultimate. We'll do that in the build up to the kickoff.
With that as well, mate, when I can.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, for sure. But I want to kind of elaborate. Go back yourself. I want to ask a difficult question for each platform.
Okay.
So we'll start with your non-preferred platforms. What is your favorite PlayStation title?
Favorite PlayStation title?
Yeah.
What is it? It's kind of a hard one, actually.
Isn't it?
Probably, I'm going to put, it's a bit cheeky, but I think I'm going to put the Uncharted trilogy into it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's just, we'll go for franchise.
Yeah.
So Uncharted franchise is your favorite?
Most likely, yeah. That's what it's kind of hard because with time periods it's different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I'd say as this kind of era, like I know I think they were PS3, weren't they? The actual.
Yeah, PS3 and then Uncharted 4 on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, definitely. They were great games.
How did you find Uncharted 4 following on from the original trilogy?
I actually haven't beat it, but I think I'm halfway through it. The only issue I did realise with Uncharted, I love the games, and Xbox Jesus answering PS title hard. Who would have thought? I know, I'm a little bit biased, but the only thing I found later on is that the mechanics, the shooting mechanics aren't great in my eyes.
Yeah.
I love the story, I love the jumping around and all that. It was pretty good, but the shooting mechanics, I think they could have upgraded a little bit.
Yeah. Chrono Cross was a good game as well. It was a very good game. Just looking at the chat there.
Yeah, and like Gran Turismo, if we're talking old school, not these new ones, but back in the
original Gran Turismo. Yeah.
Gran Turismo 2, I think even 3 was very good, and then I think they went downhill.
Yeah. But there's a few that do that, to be fair, over time.
Oh, definitely there is, mate.
And if you could, we're going all the way back here. If you could, from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3, if there was a game that you could bring back or start again, what would you bring back?
I did used to love playing Twisted Metal back in the old days. That was great.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Classic.
Yeah.
And screw you, monkey. He knows I hate that game.
Oh God, Fortnite, dear me. No, so less said about that game, the better. That's not my cup of tea.
Right. That's what I think.
We'll go on to Nintendo next then. What's the favorite Nintendo one?
Easy for me. Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong.
I love it. It was to me,
over Mario Kart.
Oh, by far. I think a lot of people go, but Mario Kart's the best. I'm like, but Diddy Kong had it all. It had adventure mode. It had everything that Mario had, but it also had the flying and stuff in it as well, and it was just great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd love to have another one, but it would have to be cross platform between Nintendo and Xbox, because they both share the rights for it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got Rare and he got Nintendo. And to be honest, like when they were showing that whole partnership and all work endeavor, I thought, oh, maybe we get something like that, but it's not really showing anything now, is it?
No, exactly. And the same applies. Which franchise would you bring back to Nintendo if you could?
Same, Diddy Kong Racing.
Just Diddy Kong all day long, every day.
I used to play the shit out of that game. I loved it.
See, my only title that I'd bring back, and I've mentioned this very recently, was Golden Sun.
Golden Sun.
That was on the Game Boy Advance.
I've never played it.
Oh, it's basically their Final Fantasy, their own Final Fantasy. Now, you've seen Octopath Traveler recently, and that was a beautiful game.
Yeah.
But Golden Sun was right there. That was such a good game. And I think I'd really love for them to do like a AAA Nintendo Switch version of Golden Sun. I think that game would fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
I would love that. I know you've mentioned before as well, Gears is your franchise for Xbox, but if that was your favorite franchise of all time, would that be the case? Or
if I was, it's kind of hard. Well, it's between that and Forza is probably my most played, and then Battlefield third.
Yeah.
But if we're going old school,
just
give me bloody Time Splitters.
Yes.
That is what I need.
Yeah, you want Time Splitters brought back.
Yeah.
Bring it back from the dead.
You're right. They were exceptional games. Like, a lot of people missed out on them games, but they're great. Like, what I loved about them is even though they weren't programmed so much to do stealth, you could still do most of a level without them even seeing you.
Yeah.
And also the multiplayer was just so fun. Adding the bots, your mates. I know it was a split screen, but imagine that like online, it would just be insane.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Got to agree. It'll be... we can only hope. Because they've brought back games. This is one thing I think Xbox need to polish up on, and one thing Sony are doing very well is bringing back older franchises, giving them a fresh lick of paint.
Yeah.
And they don't blow the doors off in sales, but they do well. Well enough to justify it. And I think Xbox need to bring back a few titles, give them a good fresh lick of paint, get a few third-party devs to do it for them, but hold their exclusivity.
Yeah, I think the older generations, not bloody 360. So you just have, or Xbox One, like we had this gen, so many remasters of last gen. Do you know what I mean? I want original Xbox remasters, like almost reboots would be nice.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd be content with both, to be honest. I'd be content with a few modern day remasters and a few reboots.
Yeah, but I think with the upgrading of literally how the Series X meant to make things look better, maybe you don't need the modernized remaster so much. If it's true what they say, how every game's going to play really well on it and nicer.
Yeah.
And how can you not play an Alan Wake, man? You got to do it. It's a great game.
I've got to agree, Hazardor. You need to jump on Alan Wake. That's a really great title.
Oh.
Yeah. Really great title. You're missing out if you haven't played that one.
And GoldenEye, yeah, Monkey. It was a classic. I actually did. When I was younger, I actually entered competitions for winning that, and I won. So I was pretty proud.
What about was it GoldenEye 64? Was it?
Yeah, GoldenEye 64. It was just called GoldenEye, but yeah, it was on the N64.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was a good game.
Yeah,
to be fair, there's quite a few games, and this is why we thought, I suppose, is it called Extinction that's coming out for the Series X? That looks so much like Turok.
Yeah. No, it does look quite cool. That.
Yeah, that looks like Turok. So I was like, yeah, I'm in.
With co-op, so
yeah.
even better.
Co-op Turok, happy days. To kind of wrap,
Madness was fun. I think I played it on the PC actually, around my mate's house.
Yeah, it's an old one, isn't it?
Yeah.
The OG Xbox. We're talking. Is that 2 decades old now? The OG Xbox.
Oh yeah, it's pretty old now. But they did have fantastic IPs on the original Xbox, which sadly did get lost a lot due to companies closing down. And
I'll tell you one game that I want back on Nintendo as well, that a lot of people will probably disagree for, and it isn't that old. Star Fox Adventures.
No, that would be great.
I would love that game to come back. I loved Star Fox Adventures on the
GameCube.
It
was fantastic.
Unbelievable game. Love that. Love that game. I want it back.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think we wish we could all have our retro games all re-updated, but still have the feel of the old. But
like, and that's one thing that Sony have done so well. Obviously, they're on every platform now, but Crash Bandicoot being redone feels exactly like it felt, a little bit better actually. Looks unbelievable.
A little bit harder.
Yeah, a little bit harder. Spyro.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I haven't, but yeah, I think they have done a good job on them.
Medieval they brought back.
Medieval, yeah.
I haven't played that yet, but I will play it. I will get it.
The reason why I don't play a lot of PlayStation now, because the controllers hurt my hands a lot.
Yeah, especially with it. I would recommend getting the Nikon then. If you can't afford to get a Nikon Revolution, get one.
What did I get? The only problem I have as well, it's the sticks, not being in the right place.
Well, that's why I love the Nikon, because it's
Xbox layout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they do you don't have to go out for the Pro controller, which costs $80. The Nikon do a cheaper variant, which is like $30, $40. That is the offset sticks like Xbox.
Okay.
So if you're having trouble playing on PlayStation because of the centralized sticks, yeah.
Is it the same size as well as Xbox?
Yeah, same size, same feel as the Xbox
that's
controller.
Good, because it's the only controller that really, don't get me wrong, I still get pains, but limited compared to the other consoles.
Yeah. So Nikon every day for that. Specifically, if you need something that's going to make it easier for you to get into games on PlayStation, I recommend Nikon all day long.
I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, I'll send you a link after this. Actually, I'll send you a link to them so you can see a few different versions, whether or not you want to go down the Pro route or whether or not you just want a nice, easy controller. I'll send you a couple of them.
It's a bit hard with all the things you've got to pay for at the moment.
Oh, you're telling me. Dear God, I didn't think I'd spend as much on food as I have recently.
Yeah, well, we've just got this. You're in Scotland, aren't you?
Not far off Newcastle.
Oh, yeah, my bad. But remember, we got the half-price meals as well, don't we? This month.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, and went kind of half price up to £10 off anyway.
Yeah, £10 off a meal. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's good. That'll be good to go out and eat and support. That's just to help support restaurants.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, to be honest. Because firstly, I thought it was just going to be a £10 voucher.
Yeah,
but
no, they just take it straight off the bill at the end. Yeah, you just tell them, and they take it off the bill automatically, and they get reimbursed by the government. So
I
that'll
think
be good.
It's a really great way to try and get and I will try and do it as much as I can, but I'm also not trying to eat shit food. So.
Oh God, yeah. I'm exactly the same, and I'm the type of person that, especially at the minute, I'll go out and I'll literally, I won't stock up on things in the fridge. I'll go out, and on the night time, if there's a specific meal I want, I'll go out and get that stuff for that meal right on the day. Simple as that. I'll have a few basic things in the house in case I can't be bothered to go and make a big meal, but yeah, most of the time.
I've cooked a nice bag bowl today. That's good. And then we always because I used to do, funny enough, that's another thing I used to do properly. I used to do chefing.
Oh, good. Happy days.
So
miles ahead of me in terms of cooking then.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of mostly doing like parties and events. I used to cook for.
Oh, sweet.
But it was good fun, and I used to love. But even that's hard now. Like it hurt just doing that. Yeah. I'm the one in Scotland. Well, hello to Scotland, Sean. Welcome. But yeah, I try and cook when I can, but it's not too easy to do it as much as I'd like.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I've got more and more as the weeks have gone on, to be fair, and start to experiment a few things and try to make new things, and especially baking. I think you've seen me cakes and things recently. I've been making a lot of cakes.
Well, you got to keep yourself busy, don't you?
Oh, too right. I think to wrap the show on, what are you wanting to see? We've got the shows coming up throughout August for both PlayStation. I think we never know with Nintendo. Never know what they're going to do.
What Nintendo doing? They'll just keep going with their Switch, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, even showing off new games, got no idea when they'll show that off. But with specifically PlayStation and Xbox coming with their shows in August, what are you hoping to see from both of them going into next year?
To be honest, it's just variety, and I want creative new ideas of new IPs. Even I don't mind some remaster of maybe some classics, but I want to see new things. I want to see innovative creativity using the power.
Yeah.
And as I've always said, I think too many people just want big games, where sometimes I think having more detail to feel like you're in that place more.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to one of my mates and I said, imagine Halo if you throw a grenade near a tree and it comes down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or when you're going through the beach, you don't only hear the sound, you have the footsteps that go through, and do you know what I mean? There's a lot that can be added to have that almost feel like you're in that experience, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a really good one to go into there. I think games, they really need to stop thinking about how big can we make these games and going more in the direction of how much more detail can we make the experience.
Yeah,
like you said, with if you're going past it or knocking into a tree, instead of that tree, maybe it's just
coconut falling head.
Maybe instead of that tree just falling over or folding in front of it, actually breaking properly and splinter off and having just like a stump with splinters and things left.
Or even if you go into a tree and like you get leaves coming down, do you know what I mean? Just a little more like. I think too many people want these bigger and bigger and bigger worlds, when to me, I'd rather have a world more compact where it feels alive. It feels, and it doesn't, I'm not even saying the graphics, just more in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can, like, to be honest, I think, funny enough, I think Grounded have done really well with their environment.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic, the feel of being in that environment. I really do think they've done well, and I really am looking forward to see where it gets to in the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, being a live service game, they can just continue to add to it.
Yeah, definitely.
But one of the things I've noticed on Grounded, I've only played it a little bit more after XO19, but was like walking through, and especially you can drink the water that's on the floor, but then it like gives you an effect. But then occasionally you'll get a drop that falls off a leaf above you, and that one's fresh to drink.
Yeah,
but
you
they're
can hit
all,
and then it'll drop down and
yeah. So it's little things. It's the little things that I think you've like you say, you mentioned there. It's the little things that matter. It's making the environment more interactive and more alive.
Definitely, and that's where I think they've done quite a good job there, because to be honest, nearly everything is breakable in that. You just got to have the right tools to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's really good. Like, you go back to even the original OG Xbox when you had your first games where you could break walls by grenades and stuff like that. And to me, sometimes you've had certain games that have kind of gone on with that and added, and then it seems like they've kind of gone away from it a bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that a few of them have got rid of like destruction and come back out of it again.
It's like even I found it really strange in Minecraft Dungeons where they're using the IP name of something where you can destroy everything, and then you can hardly destroy anything in that game.
Yeah. And then they went the opposite. You can't destroy anything or craft anything.
Correct. Yeah, and it just, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I had fun playing it with friends, but in the end I was just like, it's just the same stuff, making it harder, so you have to shoot someone for a lot longer. I don't know. And that's another thing. I think games don't need to make someone have more health. I think make them clever. Do you know what I mean? Outsmart you. That's the kind of things I want to see.
Yeah. No, that's, to be fair, it's a completely different answer to anything I've heard yet, and that's a very, very valid point as well. I think more game direction on the realistic environments and the way the environment interacts with the player.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely something I want to see as well. Is using innovation for different ways, and that is definitely part of it.
Just imagine if you're in a shooting game, like say you're in the jungle or whatever, and if you got it on the harder setting, there's a lot more traps, or there'll be points where they ambush you where you don't even see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, that to me, that's a hard setting, not having to shoot someone 20 times in the head.
Yeah, bullet sponges.
Yeah, I hate bullet sponges. I just don't like it. I don't mind a little bit if they have shields or something.
Yeah.
But when it goes overboard, you just feel like, oh, it's just, you don't. And I find when you finally get like a headshot, it doesn't feel as nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, the one that kills them.
Yeah, it's more of a, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah. But when you're in Battlefield and you get that nice sniper shot and you just ding, and that sound, it's beautiful.
yeah, I've got to agree there. Yeah, but so and that goes. I'm guessing that goes for both platforms. Then you want to see them both do the same thing.
I just want to see innovative games, really, and sadly, I haven't seen a lot of that yet, personally. There's games that I'm interested with, and the games that probably are more innovative, you haven't seen much about because they're in the main. And that's the thing. Don't get me wrong, I think Halo is, as much as people mock it, is more innovative than the other ones. Having the open world, the different, like having the grappling hook in it, and it looks like they've changed up a lot of weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So they are trying with that, and I respect that.
I've noticed one thing you would liked then from that trailer is the kind of animals and the ambience they've brought into it. Because one thing I noticed straight away is I was wearing my headphones as well watching it, was the sounds and the sound of the atmosphere and all the birds and the animals and
big difference if you go and pass a stream and you really hear that stream, or and you can hear a fish jumping, or do you know what I mean? That really creates like you're in a place, not just something drawn.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's very good point. Like Michael said as well there. Yeah. No, completely agree. It's a really good point, that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is there any certain titles that you want to see going into next gen then?
Any certain titles? Well, I would love to have a new boxing game.
Yeah.
Even give me Ready to Rumble round
Or
3.
Fight night again.
I just want Ready to Rumble round 3, man. I'm a big Dreamcast fan. We never said about Sega.
Hey, I think, to be fair though, Sega's doing a lot of work with Microsoft at the minute.
Oh, they are. Yeah, definitely. But
so you never know. Your wish might come true eventually.
yeah, one thing I will say is with Sega and the Dreamcast, probably my favorite was Shenmue 1 and 2 at the time. But 3, not so keen, because at the time I thought there was very innovative, new, and has never been done like that before.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, I thought we were going to get that with a new one. Do you know what I mean? Like something to blow you away and be like, wow, this has never been done. And it's smooth. It's smoother than the old ones. It feels nice. But sadly, I know some people like the nostalgia feel.
Yeah.
But to me, I wanted that same impact the first 2 games had on me.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And also, that's another thing I want is impact. Like the first time you ever play Bioshock.
Yeah.
When you're going down and you see that amazing world. That's probably I think that's one of the best environments in a game I've ever played. But as a whole, it's an incredible game as well. All of them.
Incredible series,
because they really did make you feel like you were in an underwater world.
Well, that's the thing I loved about the first few in both Halo and Gears was the impact it had.
Yeah, definitely.
I can fondly remember my time with Gears, specific Gears 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. I think what they did really nice is how they used the environment against you.
Yeah.
Like the razor rain, the bats that could eat you, and all this. And even though they were bastards, it did keep it creative and new ways to create danger.
Yeah. And the first thing that got me into Xbox was Halo. I remember going into to Curry's PC World when they were first bringing out the Xbox and Halo on the giant pad. But I just remember the force feedback on the guns and things like that originally,
and just having that. I think also what made Halo so amazing, it was the first time you had 8 players that you could do on system link and have a big battle. And to be honest, that's another thing. I know I did a poll about the getting community events and stuff together. I am working on it.
Yeah.
And I think it will be great to try and just re-get that charm back of playing together on games.
Yeah.
And I want that in the next gen as well, because sometimes it's hard to find games you can play with a lot of players. Yeah. Usually it's 4, maybe 6. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think me and Sean were having this conversation last night actually whilst playing Halo and Rogue Company. We do like playing multiplayer, but we prefer playing multiplayer when it's a group of friends.
Yeah, it's so much more fun. We do mostly Halo private. When you have a private match, it's great fun and you have a good laugh.
You can have a laugh. It's not too serious and everyone's joking around and that's what you need to get back. You do need to get it back.
But it's funny though, from playing all multiplayer and stuff, it's kind of how I got my name. Because people are like, how'd you kill so much? Xbox Jesus, they came up the name with me, my mates.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, and it's funny, at first I was like, should I go with that? Like, it might offend some people, but I was like, screw it.
You've got the long hair as well.
I know, that kind of helped.
How are you doing, Proteus? How's it going? We're just about to wrap this up. Unfortunately, Proteus, you've jumped in at the wrong time, but you will be able to catch up.
Yeah,
we'll be
definitely.
on YouTube after this. But yeah, thank you very much anyway for coming on there, Xbox Jesus or
No
CrazyLegsCraig.
Whatever you want. I haven't been bothered to change. It's weird because everyone goes, "Oh, you should change your game tag," and I'm like, "But I've had that since the beginning. It's just weird."
Yeah. I've only just recently, mine's just changed. I had mine for 13 years and it was just my last name, but then I changed it obviously to match the rest of the channel. So
I probably should, to be fair, but it'll happen at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, if you want to just let people know where to find you, if you've got anything coming up, of course, you work with the site yourself anyway on reviews and games and things like that. So if you want to just tell people about that and tell people where they can find you.
Okay, well, I'm with BG4G and you can find it at BG4G Hub. And I mostly do the streaming. I'm meant to be getting into doing reviews. It will happen when things are a bit easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always stream on a Thursday and it's good fun. And I also do solo streams when I can make it. So I hope you come along on I think it's Xbox Jesus 87 Twitch. I do have it up on my profile, and that's how you find me on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I'll leave a link down below on the channel anyway. So if anybody wants to go and connect to his, will be linked underneath after the stream.
All right, cool.
Exactly the same as you can see on his handle there is Xbox Jesus 87 for his Twitter handles. If you want to go and follow him on Twitter as well. Likewise for myself, you can find me every Wednesday on the Midweek Mix-Up podcast with regular panel members Forza Irwin, Sean Ballon, and Patchy070. Last week we had Boxenberger in for a good chat on catching up. Next week we'll have another special guest, as well as potentially another one on top of that. So we might have 2 special guests next week, but that'll be announced as and when. Other than that, I think I'll be uploading a couple of videos throughout the week, so keep an eyes peeled on the channel and we'll go from there. But thank you again very much there, Jesus, for the first on the community spotlight.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. If anybody knows as well, one thing I want to highlight is this is very much a community podcast. So I'm going to be doing it twice monthly, so every fortnight, but I want ideas from the community on who they would recommend to interview, who's a positive influence on the community and who deserves to have a bit of spotlight and come and kind of give their opinions and thoughts on everything. And but yeah, sure, everybody from the community, drop me an inbox or even Jesus an inbox and say who you would want on the show next for 2 weeks' time, and we'll get that set up.
Yeah, and make sure you give WandrinDutch a follow and catch his shows. They're fantastic. So,
brilliant. Thank you very much for that.
Mate.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for having on, and we shall see you all soon. We'll leave you with this outro.
Bye.
Goodbye.